Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bay Area Builds and Insights. I'm Nagaraj Annaiah, your trusted Bay Area Realtor, and joining me today is my friend Naresh from NT Bay Area. Naresh, great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Nagaraj. Thank you for having me in the show, and then thank you for Bay Area listeners. So who are tuning in and then listening this show. So happy Friday for them as well.
Happy Friday and good weather out there, listeners. Like, if you have any questions on the Bay Area real estate, construction, remodeling, anything on the ADUs. There's a hot debate right now going on the ADUs and other stuff. So if you have any questions, do give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92, 877 Bali 92. Naresh, like today is like I want to talk about like all this before jumping into the ADU. I think let's talk about the ADUs, right? How does it is going on? Like it's if somebody wants to build ADU, the small ADU is better for medium. How do they go about it?
So basically, as a contractor, what I encourage the homeowners to build is as much ADU they can build on. Because for us as a contractor, the more square footage they can build, we can provide a competitive price. Meaning price, meaning the more square footage they build, our price per square footage will be less for them. The lesser the square footage they build, the price per square foot will be more. So if that is the case, that's generally the case for the construction. So if that is the case, we would always encourage the customers to build more square footage for the ADU to get advantage of the pricing as well. Okay. Sometimes if they are building a small ADU, we couldn't give them a good price because we have to deploy our manpower, we have to deploy our equipment, we have to do electricians will be involved, all the trades people will be involved too, right? So even for a bigger home, a smaller home, it doesn't matter. Our work is kind of more or less the same. So if that is the case, then I would recommend for them to go the maximum square footage of ADU that they can build. Eventually, in the long run, for any of the homeowners, that will get a good return.
No, but see, if somebody has like 200K budget,
Okay.
should they go for a medium, 500 to 800 square footage, or like they can go bigger? How is it like right now? Like I think, how does it look like somebody should if they can go to the maximum square footage in the ADUs, or like how do they go about? And first of all, let's talk about why the ADUs are important, right?
Yes.
Like most of them, like listening, why are we even talking about the ADUs? What are the use of the ADUs, right? One is like once the family size are getting bigger, or like you have elder parents visiting in, and the third thing is you want a rental income. Right now, in the South-based rents are so higher, right? So why can't you have any rental income going on?
Okay. First of all, I just want to give some kind of small details or small description about what is ADU and then why it is getting popular. ADU stands for accessory dwelling unit. So which means it's a secondary unit which has its own entrance, which has its own kitchen, which has its own bathroom, own bedrooms. It's nowhere connected to the existing main house. So it's a separate independent unit in the same lot. So which is getting very popular because of the rental and then a lot of other aspects. There is a rental shortage, there is a home shortage, and then there is increasing in population, especially in the Bay Area, with a lot of tech companies. So the housing market has a lot of demand. So the cities are in favor of building these ADUs. Okay, so when you build an ADU, it's totally independent on its own. So what that means is when you're trying to build, so it has its own separate unit, its own separate entrance, own separate PG&E, own separate gas line, own separate drainage line, everything separate. So when they are trying to build, so the advantages, this is what ADU is all about. So advantage is you can rent it out. If you have extended families wanted to be there for some time, you can have them there. And then, or else if you want to have some short-term income, you can do Airbnb.
Correct.
Okay. And then if you have like a big family get together, especially in December time, if your family is coming over from different countries or different states, you can host them.
Yeah.
So a lot more I mean,
Again, depends on where is it. As you
correct,
said,
correct,
like the
correct.
home is like maybe closer to the more of the vacation related, right? They can do
Okay.
it for ADUs for the vacation.
Definitely, definitely.
And that's a very good thing for the Airbnbs. But
Correct.
if you're in the South Bay, then basically you can always rent it out the property.
Correct, correct,
The rentals are so high. There's a lot of possibilities with that.
Correct.
But if somebody, as we were discussing, 800 square footage or a 500 square footage, how do they plan for it?
So 500 square footage, I think, is minimum size that is good to build 500 to 600. Also, I've seen some cities are allowing them to build like up to 1200 as well.
Nice.
So it depends on the city to city, and then there also depends on how much square footage of lot you have. Okay, and then also depends on what kind of setbacks you have. Okay, so all these aspects we need to take into consideration.
Okay.
Yeah. So so that's what I can tell about the ADUs. But how our company helps the customers is, so since we are the design and build construction company, design and build construction company meaning we have our own architects, engineers, designers in our team. So who can help the client or the homeowner right from the beginning stage to the end of the stage. Beginning stage meaning trying to take the initial, whoever calls us for an inquiry about ADUs or addition, extension, home remodel, anything, we try to make an appointment. We're trying to go to the client in a homeowner's job site. We try to understand what requirement they have. We contact the city, and then I try to understand from the city's perspective what can be built, and then we convey that message to the homeowner once, and then we talk about the pricing, what can be built, how it can be built, what ways we can reduce the price, what way we can try to add more square footage, gives them a good value. Once everything is sorted out, we will deploy our engineer and architect to the job site. They will take all the measurements, give them the architectural drawing initially. Once they are okay with that one, we proceed with the structural drawings. Once the structural drawings are done, we do the Tile 24 energy calculations, structural calculations, and then we submit back to the city.
Okay.
And then get it approved from the city. As soon as it's get approved from the city, we do the construction, and then we give them the house, the ADU.
Yeah, listeners, myself, Realtor Nagaraj Annaiah, and I'm talking Naresh from NT Bay Area, and we're discussing about the ADUs and the process gets involved. And if you have any questions in the Bay Area real estate or a construction, do give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. It's easy to remember. 877 Bali 92 or 877 265 5992. 877 265 5992. So 800 or 1,000, as we were discussing about, I think it's finally depends on their needs and the budget also. I think, but if they're doing around 500 to 1,000, maybe the price might be not double up because it's already, but only thing is again the limitations what they have based on
Correct,
that they
correct,
decide.
correct. That's exactly what it is. And then also, like I said, right? So if the crew is there, we try to, any of additional square footage, we can, since the crew is there, the materials is there.
It is not like double up the price.
Double up the price.
Not like
But
that.
sometimes if you're trying to do some very small square footage, it's going to be double though.
Correct.
When for us, we try to always help the homeowners in getting the maximum discount they can potentially get from us. So sometimes we are also restricted to give them the good price because when they add like small square footage for which we have to do a lot more things, so many things we have to pay out. So for that reason we couldn't. But if the customer is or the homeowner is willing to get some more square footage, we try to get the maximum discount.
It's always more the square footage better. Correct. Right? Always that's the way to put it up, maybe, right? So listeners, myself, Realtor Nagaraj Annaiah, and I'm talking to Naresh from NT Bay Area. We are live on Bali 92.3, live on Bali 92.3. Give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92, 877 265 5992. So before continuing on the discussion on the ADUs, right, I want to quickly chat about what key drivers like labor rates, permits, or materials are pushing the prices up in the Bay Area. Are we seeing any? I know that recently the date was like inflation, a slowdown, but I'm looking on the other way. If you go to anything in the Home Depot right now, minimum pay bills are like $500, $600.
Correct.
Are you seeing that like permits, like material costs going up or the construction costs are going up? How are you noticing that?
So construction cost already went up. I already noticing that one
Yeah.
since I purchase every day some of the other materials. Since I can compare the materials how much I purchased last time and to now, so I see a spike in the materials for sure.
Mhm.
And then also in construction, right? So you need always need a qualified crew who are like experienced crew. So sometimes even for them, trying to find the right people for you also it's a bigger challenge.
Mhm.
So you also have always in the Bay Area, you always have a demand for experienced tradespeople.
Mhm.
So we always have to keep them, pay them good, keep them with us in order to get a good quality
No,
product.
no, but I think overall the construction costs are not forget. I think let's keep the labor later, but overall the just the construction materials I'm noticing too much spike right
Correct,
now.
correct,
I think
exactly.
already I'm noticing the 30 to 50% spike in the prices already.
Correct, correct.
If somebody had bought something for maybe at $10, now they're going to pay $15 minimum
That's
right
true.
now.
That's true. Hmm.
Because most of the things are coming from China. Since already indirectly the customers are the one or customers are the one who needs to bear on that.
Correct. That's exactly true. Yes.
And one more important thing I'm noticing in right, I recently read about that a lot of civil engineers right now are moving to Southern
Mm.
California because especially the Bay Area the fires around Malibu, Los Angeles around area, right? That one made like lot of the civil engineers who used to work there right now
Mm.
are getting like basically moving there.
Correct.
Because even getting a qualified civil engineers right now,
Mm. Mm.
architects are becoming expensive because they're all busy building the Southern California homes, which got fired last year,
Mm.
this year, beginning of this year, right?
Correct.
So that's all like the things, how the changes are shaping up nowadays, And
Yes.
even that one also one of the major costs, like for the Bay Area, because many tradespeople like straining a Bay Area, this resource, especially Bay Area resources and increasing costs, that also one of the things, you know.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
I think that because if I call this any civil engineers right now, they're so much busy. Like they say, dude, like I don't have any appointment for next 3 to 4 weeks.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
Yes.
that is the things you need to be doing it. Listeners, huh?
Yeah,
Go.
definitely. I mean, we know that could happen potentially, but and
Yeah.
then that's the reason we have our in-house architect and engineer.
Hmm.
So in-house architect engineer, so whenever we have our requirement, we don't want to completely rely on a third-party engineer and architect. So we have our own architect engineer in-house. So whenever we need, so we try to make the project progress faster. So we try to deploy them right away. So that's what normally we do. That's what we differentiate with the other construction companies. So since we have in-house, it's more flexible for us. So we can have this design work, architectural work, structural work done
Uh-huh.
in-house so with more faster pace.
Hmm.
For example, if we have to hire a third-party architect engineer to do some drawings, probably it will if it takes like X amount of time. With us, it will be significantly reduced by one third of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the benefit the what our customers will get when they hire us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once they come to you, right?
Correct.
Like you just only helps on the because for the residentials, are it necessary to have the landscaping plans or just submitted along with your regular? Because for example, all your grading, because
Correct.
so many times the slope you need
Correct.
to be doing it, or the drainage system needs to be done,
Correct.
right? So will you help on that complete landscaping stuff or artscape stuff also when somebody
Everything.
reaches out?
Yeah, so basically, to answer your question, so we do everything. So ours is a general construction company.
Mhm.
So we do end to end landscaping, hardscaping,
Mhm.
doing all the grading work. So everything includes in our plan.
I think a lot of people neglect on the grading, especially right,
Hmm.
like this how the water flows. That's very important to know when you're getting into this kind of projects because the anything you touch on this, if you don't have a proper grading
Correct,
and your water doesn't have a proper flow properly, then all your rainwater, where does it go?
correct, correct. That's the biggest challenge. Yes.
So that is why you need to involve the architects and the civil engineers thoroughly, and even the contractors needs to be involved. What they're getting into it. It is not like going to phases like you just do the first home, then you oh God, I forgot about the grading. So
Mm.
even that needs to be involved in your civil engineer plans.
Exactly. That's true.
right?
Exactly.
So, listeners, myself, Realtor Nagaraj Annaiah, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back, and there's a lot to talk on the real estate. Always, there's a lot to talk about the real estate. We'll come back shortly.
You've got a job, but no house. Savings, but no equity. A family, but no backyard. Even your favorite villa listing, but no approval. Realtor Nagaraj Annaiah, your trusted Bay Area real estate expert, will help you, whether you're a first-time buyer, investor, or here on a visa. From buying and selling to mortgage solutions, Nagaraj Annaiah has you covered. Call 858-880-4577. That's 858-880-4577. Or visit nagarajhomes.com. Find the home that fits your future.
Welcome back to the show. Myself, Realtor Nagaraj Annaiah, and I'm joined by today Naresh from NT Bay Area. As you heard, I've got you covered anything on the real estate, anything. Maybe if you want to build your wealth, if you want to know how the real estate market works, if you want to know more on the construction today, if you're planning to do a remodeling, is it the right time to buy or sell? Do give us a call. We are still live on Bali 92.3. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92, 877 Bali 92. Naresh, from that time, I was eager to ask you one important question. I think we were discussing before the show also, right?
Mhm.
Buying a land.
Correct.
How hard is it to buy any land undeveloped, right?
Mm.
I think I'll talk about the perspective of on the finances perspective,
Correct.
and I think you can talk about the construction perspective.
Correct. Okay.
Okay, so listeners, if you're like have some money and you would like to experiment on a buying a land, right? See, if you want to buy a land, depends on your finances. Some lenders are willing to do as little as a 50% down. You need 50%, 50% down. But if you're going hard money lenders, some of them might be able to do 20%, 25%. Again, depends on the lender and what is the interest rates are you going to get it. Are you going to get as a personal loans? Are you going to get as a land loans? That you need to figure. Or otherwise, the best easy way is like maybe you can, if you have already have a HELOC, like basically home value has appreciated so much and you want to pull that money from there, you can go to a HELOC approach, like basically pull it from your first house and use that cash towards buying a land. So that way, and one more important thing to do is also maybe ask for a seller financing also. A lot of sellers right now, since the homes are not lands are not selling, they're eager to give you a seller financing. How does the seller financing works is like basically you put 50% and the seller will carry you another 50%. Maybe it might be works for 2 years, 3 years, they can give you and ask you to pay back on the 3 years. So within the 3 years you can do a construction and then you can go to a regular loans. So that is also one of the better way to do it. So there are so many options basically when you're buying a land, but you need to work with an expert like me who can guide you, because based on it's not there is a one kind of a rule always. It's kind of there's a lot of things, but again depends on how much demand the property is, and if the property is sitting for a longer time, and again depends on the seller also. Based on the seller things, we can always work it out. So coming back to the construction, right?
Mhm.
How hard is that doing a construction? How much time does it take? Would like to talk about more on that.
So definitely, Rangraj, that's really interesting topic that you brought it up.
Uh-huh.
So I do get a lot of inquiries on that one. So the only problem with that one is, so you never know how much time the city will take in order to issue you the permits.
Mhm.
Okay, so sometimes it is an easy process, sometimes it is challenging process. There are a lot more blockers for that one.
Mhm.
We need to resolve each and every blocker in order to get our permit getting issued. And then also sometimes you also need to do some your due diligence in terms of what about the utilities, what about the gas lines, what about the electrical lines, what about drainage system, septic system, whatever you name it. So you have to do your own due diligence. So for that, you need to have a contractor, who
I
can
think
help you.
let's break it out this one, right? What are the due diligence needs to be done, right? Where is the utilities coming in? Is it
Correct.
closer to the street, or is
Correct.
it closer to the parcel where you are buying in?
Correct.
So that reduces a lot. If it is
Correct.
needs to come from few miles, it's always an expensive.
Correct. Correct.
So the utilities includes water. It includes your electrical gas line also. Maybe a gas line, I'm not sure right now is really required, because a lot of them can be relieved with even electrical also.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So once the electrical is done and zoning is done, like basically zoning is done means does the zoning allows, are you going to do a development, or you're going to build a one house or a two house, or you're going to do just maybe, right? I think one important thing to talk about is recently one of the client had called me up in the Palo Alto area. Like they told me, Nagaraj, somebody is buying a land for a 7 million, and they want me to invest for a like basically land with a single family home, and they want me to invest a $1 million, and they were telling me like after 2 years you can get a house and you can get I can get a land and develop. But be aware of all these scams right now, because most of the things what happens is like they come with this kind of stuff. But if you're not getting a title in your name, that's all the scams. You should make sure you're getting a title, and you make sure you're getting an escrow and recording a lien in the property. Otherwise, you're not able to claim anything. So that's why watch out for that. I just wanted to bring in that. Let's go ahead, Naresh.
So make sure the utilities is in place, and then make sure what about the drainage system. How are you trying to achieve that one? We also need to make sure you have enough water pressure that's coming into your place. So sometimes since if it's gonna be a new construction, so you have to have like fire sprinkler systems, have it constructed at the new construction project. So you also need to test the pressure, what pressure it is, and then how it is getting impacted. So you also need to do those calculations as well. And then also you need to see what kind of land it is, what type of soil it is. You also need to have your civil engineer there, trying to give you like some advice on what type of soil and then how it can be built. So basically that civil engineering report will be used by the structural engineer in order for him to do his structural calculations. Okay. And then on top of it, you also need to see what type of soil and then how it is, how much slope you have, what kind of grading that we need to do. So how much land we need to move on and then compact it. So, and then what about the one that you brought it up right earlier? So the French drain system, for example, the rainwater, whatever that comes around, so proper grading, French drain system. So all these need to be calculated really well. So sometimes it's not all the cost of the building actually. You also need to do this grading and stuff.
The pre-building, pre-construction, and on construction and post-construction.
Correct.
Divide it into three things.
Definitely.
Okay. And maybe may add another couple of them: pre-purchase, after purchase. Maybe divide this like pre-purchase, after purchase. In the after purchase, divide it into three more: post, post, and after, or on construction. So that's the chart looks like basically. So I think, as you said, buying a land is always better so that you can build how do you want, but be ready for all the financial hurdles, time, and everything.
Definitely.
So watch out for it.
And then the customers right now, they have a good exposure of by listening this show. So you can help them in getting the land. I can help them for trying to get from the beginning to the end, like trying to give them the construction drawings, grading thing, engineering.
I think one thing, Naresh, I think quickly I need to talk about it. A lot of people comes to me as like excitement to buy a fixer-upper and fix it up. Dude, buying a fixer-upper is not only about buying and fixing it. It's a process always.
Correct.
It doesn't happen overnight. If you have enough, it's more than a cash. It's more of a time. And I think we have one caller. I think let's take it up. Welcome to the show. Your name, please.
Hey, good afternoon. Ganesh calling from San Jose.
Yeah, hi Ganesh. We have just a minute. Can you go ahead with the question quickly, please?
Yeah, my question is with ADU. Does the ADU get postal address?
So sorry, come again. I didn't get your question. There was a lot of noise in there.
Okay. If we build the ADU, does ADU get USPS postal address?
Yes. You get you get your own address also. But when you do it, the register itself will get it. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Ganesh. Yeah. So listeners, thanks for listening in today. If you have any questions, Naresh, how do they reach out to you?
So they can reach out on www.ntbayaconstruction.com. So they can go and then send us a message, or they can call us on our phone number 510-324-6588.
Yeah, listeners, if you want to reach out to me, anything on everything on the Bay Area real estate, it's easy to remember. nagarajhomes.com, the go-to information on the real estate. If you don't visit Nagaraj Annaiah's website, you're missing out anything on the real estate. If you want to do that, do that. And thank you so much. An easy way to reach out to me on the phone numbers are 858-880-457. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening out there.